Welcome to another action-packed episode of Bent TV. I'm Malice, your host for this evening. We're going to start out with a segment entirely powered by Ginni, and I believe the artists involved are called 5 foot 2 inches. That's about my height. Let's check it out.
You're watching Bent TV with Ginni, and on today's show, you've heard of many buildings: the Empire State Building, the Leaning Tower of Pizza, the Rialto. What do those three buildings have in common? They're all freaking tall. Our next guests probably don't share the same feeling because they're called 5 foot 2. An awesome music duo joining me in the studio today. Hello, Joe Sofa and Kitty Cat.
Hello. I knew where you were going with that. I'm not impressed. I wore my biggest heels today, which you cannot see because of this table.
We stole your thunder. And the funny thing was, I knew that you knew I was going with that because all I could hear was this.
I was stewing over here on the side. It's okay. I'm comfortable with my height. I know I'm small.
I've got to say,
we've accepted it.
You've accepted. Like, you can't really notice it because these guys are sitting down. But Kitty Cat is tiny. She's 5 foot 2. But you really...
I don't think I actually am. I think I'm shorter than that.
You made me believe you were 5 foot 2. I was running around saying I've got 5 foot 2 on. Why are they called 5 foot 2? Because she's 5 foot 2.
I think I'm actually 5 foot and there's two of us. That's why I went with that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you're not 5 foot 2?
No. Heels off, flats, no.
No. Okay.
Maybe it's the halfway point between me and her, and you know.
Because you're not much taller than her, are you?
A little bit, only
Love
by
that.
a little bit. But I feel like a giant.
That is awesome. Now, I've got to say, you guys are looking glamorous. You've gone all out with the hair. You've gone, well, you've done a lot of work on your hair, obviously. But
I always do.
But you guys have been out and about lately. You're playing at big dance festivals. You're appearing a bit more out in public. What's happened? Like, you went from playing at little clubs to BAM!
I know, it's kind of gone nuts this year, 2013. Big year ahead for us.
Yeah.
We recently did a big festival New Year's Day, and we literally had the best stage. It wasn't main stage, but we had the best stage because it was enclosed. It had lasers, LED lights, UV. I had the perfect outfit, of course.
Yeah.
It was all fluoro.
And of course it had us, which was the best. Yes.
And it had us, yes. And I got told off because I was standing on top of the decks, and the sound goes like, "You need to get down." I'm like, "No, I'm singing." No. Get down.
You never ruin Kitty Cat when she's in a moment of glory. Yo.
And then I was like, should I jump off into the crowd? And I actually asked the crowd, like, should I jump off into the crowd?
It was a big jump. It would have been a big feat.
But I had runners, so I wore runners, because that's what you do at a festival. You do not wear heels.
Who said, that's good for me to know, because I always make the mistake of wearing heels. Last night I went out, I wore heels, they broke.
I laughed at you last night.
You did laugh at me.
I'm not used to you in heels and you're like shuffling through the
because they were too big for me, and they broke. You can't walk with broken heels. They literally broke in half in the middle.
Barefoot.
No shopping by yourself. I will take you.
Thank you, darling. Well, your heels are tall enough.
Let's get shoes that fit. We'll start there.
Thank you, fun-sized Kitty Cat. So, Kitty Cat, tell me, like, you're probably the vocalist of the duo.
I am, in terms of singing, but Joe's coming out there with a bit of the emceeing. He rocked it on New Year's Day. So he's starting to rap a little bit more.
Let's just recap before we delve into what your vocal roles are. So, essentially, you guys are a dance duo. You play at festivals behind decks, and one of you sings and one of you kind of MCs over. That's correct?
But we both DJ.
You both DJ?
Yeah.
Right.
So we take turns. Like, I'm on the decks, he's on the decks, I'm on the mic, he's on the mic. And we're just, like, jumping and screaming and...
You just jump and scream in general.
Yeah, and my arms, like, whoa. The guy said sit still.
Yeah.
But my arms are generally going, my legs are going anywhere. It's just full energy. It's a lot of adrenaline, and it's exciting, and we love it.
It's a tiring set after the end of it, I tell you. We're pretty tired.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I was still excited. It was only a 1 hour set. Come on. And the crowd was really on it. New Year's Day, everybody was... I wasn't sure if they'd bring it, but I think maybe people stayed home New Year's Eve and brought it all on New Year's Day.
Or you just brought it.
Partying.
Yeah.
Or they were still going, yeah. I'm not sure, but
through.
we took it all in and we let them scream and clap and call our names and tattoo us on their bodies.
You let them tattoo you?
Well, we've got tattoos. That's how serious we are. We've got tattoos now.
Wow. You like permanently ink people?
No.
Without the permanent part.
You just ink people.
Yeah.
If you shower limitedly, they do last about 4 weeks.
Shower limitedly.
You know that.
That's recommended.
We don't advise that at home.
Well,
5 foot 2 fans are water savers. There you go.
Good for the environment.
Stage 3 water restrictions. Victoria on the move.
Yeah.
I've got to ask you guys too, like, you guys are publicly a couple.
Yes.
So you work together and you play together. How's that like?
It's all the same. It's
great.
not really work, it's playing.
You know, when we first started performing together, we were told that we had this energy or chemistry on stage that nobody's seen before. And I think, you know, being together's probably got something to do with it.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
So you kind of invoke the creativity from what love that you have for each other.
Sexual chemistry, that's what it is.
Oh.
You did not just say that.
I don't know if we're allowed to say that this time. It's like, your wife has
Can we
the
beep
same
that
habit
out?
on radio.
You don't have to beep it out, that's fine.
Your wife has the same habit on radio. You put her on at 6 p.m. She talks about making love and pornographic things which should not be discussed.
Well, when I did
at
the music for
that hour.
that show, it was a lot of bump and grind. It was like sexy R&B, so we had
We
to...
need that beep button here so we can push it ourselves every time she says
It's all right, they'll cut it later.
So tell me, guys, what's coming up for you in 2013? You seem to have a big year so far. I can only imagine what your remaining 9 months hold for you.
It is a big year this
Well,
year.
this was a big day right here, Ben TV.
This is the start of it, really.
Absolutely,
This
yeah,
is
it
the
all
start.
starts with Ginny. Always starts with Ginny.
And you're going to be following us around through the whole thing as well.
Yeah,
so.
I'll be the tallest person in the 5'2" crew.
And when I get you heels, you'll be even taller.
That actually fit.
Indeed.
Not sure I'll do that.
Empire State Building.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
What's on?
Three big things. Are we allowed to name festivals?
Yeah.
We are. We got Good Life, which is a really big underage festival, Melbourne festival, which will probably be somewhere in the vicinity of 20-odd thousand people.
And that's main stage.
Main
stage.
Yeah,
So you've
that's
been
the hot
upgraded.
tip,
I'll be wrapped if Steve Aoki plays, and then we play.
which is probably going to happen, but shh, again, don't tell anyone.
No,
it's all
we're-
hush-hush. We're keeping it all very
I
hush-hush.
actually may crap myself.
Oh my God.
Future Music Festival straight after that, which is the big one as well.
Yeah.
That should be really, really good fun. And then, with a bit of luck, Vegas later in the year as well.
Vegas, baby.
Yeah.
Maybe New York with Ginny Crew.
And you know
With
what they
Ginny
say,
Crew.
what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Absolutely.
So they tell me.
It's us going.
Nothing's going to happen. A lot will happen, we'll say that.
With us.
Talk about sexual chemistry. What happens on Bent TV stays on Bent TV. Speaking of which, thank you so much for you guys for joining me in the studio today. I'm so excited to start
you.
your new year for you.
Yeah.
It's been
gonna be
it's been 5'2" DJs Kitty Cat and Joe Sofo. This has been Bent TV with Ginny.
Wow, that was pretty cool. Please stay with us for more Bent TV after this break. Welcome back to Bent TV. I'm Malice. We're about to head into another segment on Melbourne Queer Film Festival. This time we're talking about the first week of the festival, and so it's myself as well as Gavin from Bent TV, and we're talking to Lisa Daniel, Funky Festival Director. Check it out. Hi, so Lisa Daniel, can I ask you, Festival Director of Melbourne Queer Film Festival, what can we expect from the opening night this year?
Wow. You can expect a great experience, of
Yeah,
course. But
good, of course.
opening night is at Acme,
Yes.
and we're screening a fantastic film called Gaby.
Yes, no, I wanted to talk about Gaby because it
Yeah.
really piqued my interest.
Gaby has screened at pretty much every queer film festival across the universe.
Cool.
Because there are
It's that
queer
good.
film festivals
Yeah.
in the rest of the universe.
Yeah.
And it's won several awards. It's done really well. It's actually based on a short that we screened at the festival a few years ago called Gaby,
Yeah.
which was about a 10-minute short. They've made a feature out of it, thank God. It's fantastic. The basic premise is, so a straight girl, a gay guy,
Yep.
know each other from college, what do they call it in America. They get to the age, I think they're about 30.
Yep,
He's
that's
kind
the
of,
age.
he's a struggling writer. She's single, she's hilarious. And they decide that, she wants to have a baby, so he comes good with a promise that he made in college years, and they decide to have a baby together. But
Yes,
kind of-
the interesting bit's the way they have the baby. right?
they decide to have it the natural way, or the traditional way, or however you want to call sexual intercourse. In the traditional sense. So
Bring
rather than
such
the
bits,
turkey-based or
yeah.
IVF or anything
Yeah.
like that, they decide to do it the traditional sense. And that, of course, brings out a lot of hilarity
I was
in
gonna
terms of
say,
how he's coping with that,
yes.
how because she's a bit of a stick in the mud, I suppose. Is how you,
Yeah.
So it's quite hilarious. And then she has a one-night stand, and he falls in love, and it all becomes very messy.
Wow. That's
So,
got,
yes.
that's got something for everybody. doesn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. Look, it's great fun. It's a really fun film. The writing's really brilliant. The acting's fantastic. It's a beautifully produced film. So for opening night, it's a great sort of party film to kick off the festival.
Yeah.
I think it's,
can't
I think
wait.
it'll do well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Girls, guys, whoever is going to love that because it's just a fun film. So,
Yeah. Excellent.
You have documentaries in the first week. What do you
Yes,
have?
we've got some spread out across the festival, but we do have more in the first weekend for various reasons are going overseas. They're going to different festivals. We've got a fantastic New Zealand documentary this year called Intersection, which is a documentary about a person in New Zealand called Manny, who is basically a spokesperson for the intersex community in New Zealand. So it's all about the journey that Manny's taken throughout, his life in terms of gender and sexuality and that sort of thing. We've got a fantastic documentary called I Am Gay and Muslim, which is sure to be fairly, not so much controversial, but very interesting in terms of how the Muslim community reconcile being gay with their sexuality and how incredibly difficult it is to exist in a Muslim, particularly in a fundamental sense. So there too to look for. There's a fantastic trans documentary called I Am a Woman Now, which is just fantastic. It's basically obviously a trans documentary, you can tell in terms of the title, about a whole bunch of trans women who are in their 70s.
Wow.
And they've been trans for many, many years, many decades, and the filmmaker sort of visits them and sort of says, well, how do you feel about your decision and your surgery, the surgery that you had a long time ago? So it's fantastic to see that the transition that they've made over this, sort of 40 years in some cases. There's also a really, really good film called The Invisible Men, which is, again, broaches the subject of religion and culture and how that sort of intersects in terms of sexuality. So it's basically about guys living in Palestine, gay guys living in Palestine, wanting to try and escape into Tel Aviv. And then once they're in Tel Aviv, they're basically nobodies because they can't get citizenship there. They can't go back to Palestine because their parents, their families, in some cases, have killed children that are gay, especially sons. So they're basically trapped in no man's land, and sometimes the UN will help them and they'll get transplanted to somewhere like Switzerland or something. It's an incredible story, and when I saw it in San Francisco at the Frameline Film Festival, there was protests out the front, there was lots of sort of Palestine Jewish unrest. It was quite interesting. So really interesting to see what happens here, but it's a brilliant film. Yeah, I'm looking forward to screening that one.
Yeah, that one sounds really interesting.
Yes, it does.
So what's the deal with the Selectors' Choice session?
Yes, that's in the first weekend as well. It's the first Saturday. So the selectors, obviously try and see as much as they can. They pick out a film that they think might be hard to sell, like is it going to be hard to market this film? It's a great film. How can we try and push it along and make people try and see it, or pick it out of the bunch and say this is a great film, you should see it. And so this year we've got a fantastic lesbian comedy from Singapore called When Hainan Met Teochew.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yes.
And it's a crazy kind of comedy of errors type of film, all starting with a falling bra. It's probably all I should say. Falls out of a building, hits someone on the head, and then comedy ensues.
Yeah.
So, and there's a bit of butch stuff and a bit of femme stuff, and it's very, very funny. So have a look out for that one. And after the session, the selectors will go down to the festival lounge and chat about how it all works and how we select the films and that sort of thing. Yeah.
The online program or guide is very extensive. How would you suggest?
You've got to take a couple of days. Sit down. No, look, we've worked really hard on our online presence and our web search and because you can buy all your tickets on the internet as well. But you can do things like search under genre. Like if you just like comedies, you can search under comedies. You can search under lesbian. You can search under trans. You can search under country and title. But you can also just bring the drop-down menu and just look at the entire festival. Title by title, or we actually do have a PDF that you can flick through like a magazine. I think it's called Issue, and you can flick through that. But we also have the printed guides as well. If you're an old-fashioned girl like me, you want to touch the page and look at the picture really closely. Yeah. So, but we do put a lot of work into our website. So
there
full
was
ticketing.
Another movie that piqued my interest, which was Funky Town.
Funky Town, yeah, that's a fantastic film. One of my favourites, actually. It's a Canadian film. I've got a bit of a soft spot for Canadian films.
Sure.
It's what I would call an ensemble cast. Anyone who's familiar with the filmmaker Robert Altman, it's a little bit like that. For anyone who's seen, say, I don't know, Nashville or something like that. So it's an ensemble cast that sort of intersect across the stories. There's gay characters, straight characters. There's an HIV theme. It's set in the disco dancing days
1976, isn't it?
Yeah, sort of late 70s of Montreal, Canada, and the music is all absolutely brilliant. Like all classic disco from the late 70s. But it's it's a serious story. It's a comedy. It's about addiction. It's about being in the closet, it's about falling in love, it's about being out, about being not out. So it's about family. So it's just a fantastic all-rounder, really, really well produced. But the music is just, you know, it's fantastic. Silver Convention. Anyone who remembers Silver Convention?
Yeah,
You're going to love it.
Yeah, excellent.
So, yeah, great.
All right, well, that's one I'm definitely going to be checking out in the first week of Melbourne Queer Film Festival. Thanks, Lisa and Gavin. Well, hope you enjoyed that. Can't wait to see some of those exciting films and docos in the festival. Don't go away, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Bent TV. We are now going to head into a story on another spoken word artist that is getting about midsummer. Hope you enjoy.
Hey, you're on Bent TV. I'm Sammy Whitehead. I'm joined by award-winning lesbian author Dr. Bridget Lewis. Welcome to Bent.
Thank you very much.
Tell me a little bit about your work.
Well, I'm a performance artist and I'm also a sociologist. So I create art that reflects my PhD work. So I look at social politics, discrimination, desire and sex. And I take my theory off the page onto the stage.
Wow, sounds absolutely amazing. Now, you're involved in part of Midsummer.
I am.
How's that for you, being in part of such a massive festival?
I think it's really important to be part of community and to bring my work to community so I have a voice and the community also has a voice.
Now, Mouth to Mouth, part of Midsummer, has been described as desire begins with a throb of cock and clit and not necessarily against each other.
Yes.
Are you going to be performing some of that today?
I am indeed. I'm really excited.
We look forward to it.
Thank you. I am a creationist because I am a thinker. I am the biological imperative at the end of the rainbow. Because once we deconstruct colours, we have nothing but bit pieces, little understandings of stories to tell each other. We become disembodied heads talking, with so many ways to connect without ever having to touch, but so much closer to unravelling now than when we sent only letters or dialed home phones without broadband connections. Now everything begins with E or I. And me, I use a lowercase I when I write because I'm referencing history, saluting the present and reminding myself that equality is still a heartbeat away. Another generation of fighting, another century of begging and convincing that we are human too. We, the dykes, the fags, the bisexuals and the genderqueers, the ones that feel it in our bodies, feel it in our hearts breaking as another friend walks down the aisle while we look on. We are the revolution speaking every time we edge closer to each other. Every time we say yes to the desire in our same-sex limbs. We are living liberation in the name of people everywhere. Daring to press tongues with our lovers, hold hands on suburban streets, and talk about our partners at work functions. You and I, we are living political agitation. And when my thighs shake because of a beautiful woman, my shivers sing odes to the women who have shook before me. Dorothy Porter, Magda Szubanski, Anna Brown, Barbary Clark, Penny Wong. You are the names laid out before me. So few. It's true. But in a global context, there are many more. Monique Wittig, Judith Butler, Audre Lorde, and now those names create a door that I look to every time I want to remember how to face a new day and keep on stepping through. Because the world is a labyrinth, and sometimes change happens when you least expect it. When you put your heart on a platter and offer it up to people like you. When people like me stand up, and people like us come together to experience each other. Share gazes, not small talk. Deliver our hands as gifts, not weapons. And offer our breath in exchange. So let me touch the softest part of you. The place you only let yourself go. Take a deep breath with me. I said, take a deep breath with me. And feel into it now. Let me caress that place with my words, so your body feels my body, of days and centuries of language unfurling, like a steel trap, at once an iron cage and endless odes to liberation. And my body is in you, I dare to know declaration, and I dare to know yours in all its glory and sadness too. Let go where your body clings harder than glad wrap on a Vegemite sandwich. Sink into your skin like an Aussie battler on a Sunday. Gug, gug, gug. And get Matthew Mitchum in your limbs and dive deeper. Most of all, let your body have a mind of its own. And remind it that all this masculinizing each other doesn't have to be the last page of the book. Now we've learnt to write in our own names. We can use our bodies like an instrument and let them use us. We can use our bodies like an instrument and let them use us. To tell stories we'd forgotten we painted over all those wounds ago. Because the only way to be Australian back then was to grimace and bear it. But these days, with the rise of the new age and self-improvement, we're learning to unload our own baggage and grimace and share it. So watch out, because this woman, this sister, this body is always already on the edge of becoming. Just like my father, just like my mother, just like my history.
So that's very exciting and always interesting to hear from our spoken word artists. So what is also interesting to us is to hear from you, and we would love you to be involved in Bent TV production in any capacity, be it researcher, behind the scenes, perhaps coming and being on air with me, kind of, is something you fancy. Please go to benttv.org.au, have a little play around and you'll find a spot to come and volunteer with us. And we'll see you again next week. Bye.
Dang, I finished too early.
Cool. Yeah, you did finish too early.
Yeah.
That's all right. We'll
Fix that up.
hang around.
40 seconds.
I know, I was waiting for that.
I know, I was only at that. And she
Oh, I interpreted it as that, so I just, like, you know what?
I'm surprised it's exactly.
Yeah.
It's not unusual for beginners to be premature.
Oh, I'm sorry, what? Oh, no, you did.
There was lots of energy. That was, you were like, I can see you jumping.
That's what I mean.
That's why when he said sit still, I'm like,
Yeah,
That's gonna
when
be
he said
difficult.
that, don't move around, I thought it was going to be
And
our
that
kitty
was
cat.
like, that was me toned down. I was like, really
It is
trying.
her
So
toned down.
how
And then I
much
was
in
like,
there
oh,
can you
your arms
hear?
got
It's just, I'm thinking audio-wise, okay?
I know.
Did you get much of the...
Yesterday?
No.
Yes,
So you're done.
I'm done.
Beautiful, fantastic.
And
Thank you very much. Make sure you take your microphones off.
Yep.
Just leave
Sir?
them on the desk.
No
They're so
problem.
pretty.
In fact, no need to do it.
Okay.